All right, welcome back to the GODFOE Universe podcast. It's me, Dan, co-creator of the GODFOE Universe and writer of it with Josh.
It's me, Dan.
Me, Don.
Me, Dan.
I
What's up, guys?
I own the Maiden.
I am me, Dan.
I'll never forget that episode of Mission Hill. It was like a really crappily drawn cartoon on Cartoon Network for a while. And the nerd takes like this girl out. They think it's like the planetarium, and he thinks it's like one of those laser shows. And like it turns out it's like this voice comes on. It's like shows the cosmos, and it's like first there was God, and God beheld the vastness of the universe, and it was good. And then there was Judas Priest. He kicks it. Turns out it's a Judas Priest concert.
What's like I've been on vacation this week. For everybody listening,
In
and we went to
Kentucky.
Kentucky. Kentucky.
Kentucky.
We went to Kentucky. Yeah, we went to Kentucky, and we visited the Creation Museum and the Ark Experience, Ark Encounter, what I think is what it's called. And it's funny, like I was there, and there was this dude at the Ark Encounter, or I think he was at the Creation Museum, had the most awesome Iron Maiden, like vintage Iron
Yeah.
Maiden, the Trooper T-shirt on. I'm like, dude, sick Iron Maiden shirt, up the irons, and he was like, like, like I don't think he expected to see anybody that knew what he was like, recognized what he was wearing.
He's like, he's like, I'm just a fan of medieval torture devices.
But like, it was funny to me because I'm like you got. That's a bold statement to wear the Iron Maiden T-shirt into the Creation Museum.
Man, I don't know. They're not that blasphemous.
Raw Dinosaurs. Well, like their drummer, was it McBrain, Nico McBrain? He's outspoken Christian. Like he's pretty devout.
Dickinson.
They were never.
Is it Dickinson? Bruce Dickinson? He
Yeah, the singer. Yeah.
he's a huge at least William Blake fan, which I don't know if William Blake was entirely Christian or part Gnostic. I know he at least had some weird. He created his whole like alternate creation theory. But I mean, instead of C.S. Lewis, but he gave like a speech at like his memorial that they just like erected a couple of years ago, like Dickinson did. So at least they were
Well, they
At least if you're not gonna like believe in like religion, at least be educated on it. You know.
Well, that's the thing is like they were never one of those groups that was like full of like vulgar language and stuff in their songs. They were always
Most
like,
metal bands weren't, at least from that era.
yeah, they really were not. Yeah, not from that era.
Mm-mm. It
And
wasn't until like black metal came along.
right. Well, they because they got so much flack for the Number of the Beast, which is one of the best songs ever written and recorded in the history of mankind. But
Beethoven has entered the chat.
yeah, they got so much flack from American Christians that genuinely surprised them. Like I saw an interview with him one time. He's like, literally, he's like, these people definitely didn't grow up in England where there's like druids and like all kinds of like weird cults and like stuff in the like actual literal witches in the woods and stuff. Like he's like, this is not like we're not being blasphemous. Like he's like, it's in the Bible. It's like it's a biblical concept. We're just singing about it.
Yeah,
and like
it's
kind
from the
of
perspective of a
making
guy
a joke.
witnessing something horrific and like reacting to it.
Yeah, he's
Not
like,
the
nobody's
glorification
saying
of
this
it.
is a great thing. We're just, he's like, we never expected anybody to take this song seriously.
They still sold 1 million records. They don't care.
I bought that album like
Yeah.
3 times or at least in different formats. I had it on cassette. I've had it on CD. I bought it like twice on CD. If I ever found the LP of it, like I would buy that just because it's awesome.
I think I have that. I know I had the CD of it. I know Zeke has the LP of it. But like,
Man, that album was so good.
I was talking with my wife about this the other day that I'm glad like I myself and like no one I know is so hipstery as to preach about how good tapes are, because I know tapes are like coming back, but we can all admit tapes suck. Like
Oh yeah, tapes were terrible.
tapes were never good. Like I remember as a kid, that was like the pinnacle of technology, and we were still like, man, this sucks. Like
Had to take the pencil and wind it back up because you screwed it up.
Yeah, but if someone gave you like a mixtape, that was like that took work. So
Oh yeah,
like
that was
that was
dope.
awesome. And it would have like the last 3 seconds of a commercial before before the
Yeah,
song
because they're recording off it.
started.
Well, that's like no what kids these days don't understand, man.
What's a commercial? It's what Mr. Beast does, but way more, but way less interesting.
Well, that and like recording movies off of TV
Oh
and
yeah,
TV
I
shows
had
on
True
tape.
Lies on a blank tape.
So like you'd go to school and like your friends had the actual purchased R-rated version, and
Mm-hmm.
you had the version with different
The
words put
radio,
in.
the TV edit, not the radio edit, the TV edit. Yeah, I think we had like Predator on VHS, and it like wasn't great because it was like ripped off of like Fox 43 or whatever.
It's like 40 minutes of that movie cut out.
Yeah, all the good parts. I remember
You're the one, the ugly.
Mother. Damn. I remember like we used to have a basic cable, which was like 12 channels instead of the basic 3 that you got.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them would always show the weirdest movies on Sunday afternoons. So like while my dad's taking a nap, I'm trying to watch it. Like one of them was like this like skate gang in the future. It was really weird.
Is it rollerball or
No,
something?
it wasn't that cool. It was like it looked like they'd filmed it in downtown LA and pretended like it was the future. And like
Probably like a trauma movie or something.
it was so bad. It was like I don't remember if it was rollerblades or skateboards. I think it was skateboards, but it definitely was one of those movies where like there's like 20 minutes of skateboarding that doesn't have anything to do with like the plot that they would use as filler for the plot.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Man, I remember they used to put some crazy stuff on the weekends, man, on some of those like barely like because you could get like cable channels that were still scrambled or
hmm
whatever, or like partially scrambled and stuff. I remember watching a horror movie as a kid, and like I watched it not that long ago, and like it's actually still more effective than you expect it to be. But as a kid, I saw it, and even like edited for TV, it jacked me up. Because Alice, Sweet Alice, it's like this girl who like it's like a young girl that's a murderer, and she's got like one of these like a yellow raincoat and like this clear face mask with has makeup painted on it.
mm.
Dude, that movie was terrifying. It was American, but it felt like a giallo film. That thing was scary.
I
I saw plenty of movies I shouldn't have watched as a kid just because they would come on those
I remember we had
like
the
unscrambled shows.
we had the USA channel, which was
Oh yeah, yeah,
such a
yeah.
joke, but it would have like the weirdest horror movies come on. Like I remember watching The Paperboy, which is about the little crazy kid that like kills people or whatever. It had a really bad scene, like a really effective scene of like he's like torturing this old lady by making her think that he's killed her like dog. Like it was, and it turns out he didn't, but like it was really drawn out and like really hard to watch. It was pretty
I
bad.
remember because like I grew up in a really, really, really small town, and like if you drove into the next town, you could find actual like movie rental stores and
Yeah.
stuff. But I remember we had like a mom and pop type stop and shop place in town,
Mom and pop
and they
type
had
stop
like
and shop.
they had like you could rent videos there. They had like a rack of like just of dusty old VHSs, and they didn't care what you rented. Like they could care less. It's like like Roses would do that too. Like
Yeah,
you go to
Roses
Roses
didn't
and rent
care.
whatever you could rent whatever you wanted. And like I remember renting like Dr. Giggles or something like that as a kid, and it's just terrifying me. It's probably awful and stupid now, but as a kid, it messed me up.
On USA, I remember there was like 3 of them, and it wasn't Short Circuit. It was like about a killer robot. Like somebody made this robot, and like one of the like in the trailer is like this girl's like in the pool and she's floating on the thing, and like the robot reaches his hand down and like electrifies the water. I remember watching those movies. I don't remember what they were.
I remember watching and loving a movie that came on like probably USA or something like that. It had Gene Simmons was the bad guy, and I want to say it had Tom Selleck in it. It's called oh man, Runaway. like the bad guy, Gene Simmons had all these like remote controlled like robot spiders. It was such a cool movie, and like it's one of those movies that was like a fever dream, and people you talk to them about it are like, man, you made that up. I'm like, no, I promise you this movie existed, and I watched it every time it came on TV.
Was it Hardware? Hold on, let me see.
The one you're thinking about might be Hardware. That's the only killer robot movie I remember, other than like the
I
Terminator.
don't know. This one was like with like talking, so it was like this little robot, and he was killing people. I don't think it's Hardware. This looks awesome,
I
whatever
remember
this is,
Hardware was
dude.
dope. I don't remember what. Yeah, Hardware was like a heavy metal movie.
I'm gonna get this on the screen real quick for those who are watching it. Look at this. Jeez. Oh my gosh. Sorry, Hardware looks awesome. I gotta fit
Dude,
this.
Hardware is awesome. Hardware is a great movie.
Dude, I gotta find this movie.
The one I was talking about was called Runaway. I was great. Yeah, it had Gene Simmons and Tom Selleck in it.
Jay's a little runaway. That's if Bruce Springsteen covered Bon Jovi. Killer robot movie.
I'm like, did you see like some like weird version of the Short Circuit movies?
It was on USA Channel all the time, and it was this little robot, and I'm pretty sure there was like 2 or 3 of them. Like, I wish I could remember the name of it, but it was like Killer Robot Movie Electrifies Pool. That's all. It was this little robot, and like he was like a toy, but like he like one of the games he would play is he came with like little darts that he would shoot at you, like Nerf darts, and then he would roll over them to pick them back up, and he would shoot at the kid again. Well, like, you know, one of the first ominous like signs that everything's going on is he picks up like a nail or something and shoots it at the kid. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Man, I don't know what you saw as a kid, but was it? Oh, there's Chopping Mall.
That sounds awesome. Whatever that is. People put Megan on this crap. I never saw.
I think this
Megan.
might. This could be because it talks about having darts and electricity and stuff.
All right, what's that one? What's that one?
Called Chopping Mall.
No,
But that's about
it's
these
not
little
this
droids,
one.
like security droids.
No, it's not that one. High voltage? No.
High voltage rock and roll.
Oh, anyway, this is supposed to be the spring break special, and Josh was in Kentucky. And what did you do? What did you do there, Josh?
So we went to the Ark Encounter, the Creation Museum. We ate a lot of food. We also, on the way, we stopped in Tennessee, and we went to Dollywood, which was what it was.
It was dope food there, though, right?
Yeah, the food was great.
Well, the Ark Encounter. Walk me through that because I've heard about it. It's a giant boat. Like it's Noah,
All right?
right?
So yeah, did you say what? It's what?
It's Noah, right?
Yeah. All right, so the people that made this are obviously the Christian young Earth creationists. A guy's name is Keith Ham, I think, is the main mind behind it. Several years ago, created the Creation Museum, and the Creation Museum I thought was cool. Like it showed the history. It's basically like this showing the history of mankind from a biblical worldview and trying to explain scientifically this idea of a young Earth and refuting evolution, like offering like a scientific explanation that other than evolution and things about like the flood and whatnot. Years later, they finally were able to afford to create the Ark Encounter, which is a life-size replica of Noah's Ark, like based on the
Biblical
dimensions given in the
yeah.
Bible. And you go inside of it. It's three floors, and it's enormous. And they've like completely recreated what it could have been like to how they may have fit the animals. ideas of how they may have fed all the animals, things like that. So that side of it was pretty cool. That showed a lot of evidence to support the worldwide flood, things like that. Explain a lot
Hey,
of
well,
stuff with it.
there's
To
almost
go a
like no getting
little,
over that. Like the worldwide
yeah,
flood definitely happened. Like no matter every single culture's got a story of it. There's like
well,
unbelievable,
yeah,
yeah,
and they
evidence
go
of it.
through that. They did a really good job showing the other flood myths and things like that, and kind of trying to explain why. Because one of the big arguments that atheists or agnostics might have a lot of times is they try to say, well, the biblical narrative was copied from other older like ancient flood myths, and it's just a flood myth like any of the others. So they talked about some of the reasons why that is not an accurate statement. The biggest issue I had, you have to sprinkle salt on this stuff because it's even if you are a believer, like you got to understand that like the people that made the museum
Have an
were
agenda.
well intentioned for sure, but there's a bias
Yeah.
to their reading of how they interpret scripture and
And to be fair,
anything that's
there's a bias in all of academia for the past 300
of
years.
course, of course, yeah, of course. So I'm just saying
Yeah.
that there is no denying and no there's no like way to not have that. So anything that doesn't like gap theorists or anything that's another interpretation or another way of looking at it becomes something that like they're going to demonize pretty hard in there.
Oh
But
yeah.
if you can overlook the fact that they got a buttload of dinosaurs on the ark, I mean they really double down on the dinosaurs in that place. If you can ignore that, it's a really cool experience. It's definitely awesome to see the scale of the art, and I would say that all of the dioramas and things that they created, scenes and things they created, are the best looking and most meticulous I've seen at any museum. And I've been to the Smithsonian, I've been to like Museum of Natural
I've
History,
been to the
like just
edge, and now to look down.
but like they like regardless of the bias, they did a great job on presentation and the aesthetics of it. It was actually really cool,
Here, I'm gonna throw this up
especially
on here
just
for
the
people.
size of the arc. It's incredible how huge the arc was. Like that was really neat. It was a good week. It
Yeah,
was a good
I
chance
see
to
the
check out.
dinosaurs in the ark.
Yeah. There's a lot of that.
Yeah, I
So
don't know how I feel about that.
well, they're saying that like the view that they put out is that the dinosaurs were part of that, the creation, and that God would have brought like juvenile versions of those to go on the ark, and that before the flood, dinosaurs would have all animals and all people would have been vegetarians because God in the scripture God doesn't allow the eating of meat until after the flood, and like their ideas, I guess that dinosaurs were like all the dinosaurs up until the fall would have, and all animals before the fall of man would have been just like vegetarian because God, in the scriptures it said in Genesis that he had given every planted seeded plant or whatever
Yeah.
for the animals to eat. But like I'm standing there with my wife and I'm looking up at this gigantic T-Rex that they had. I'm like, all right, so you expect me to look at that and say God created that thing to live off of nuts and berries? That's
I don't
I
know,
don't know.
man. Like that's what I don't understand because I mean, reptiles exist, you know. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about things. The dinosaur thing I never got. Just to go off on a tangent, like I don't understand why like a lot of Christians get hung up on that. It's like first of all, we have no idea how many different crazy species existed at any time in history, and we find these bones, and we're still not sure exactly how they're supposed to be, go, and we're not exactly sure like how these animals are supposed to look, and it's stupid, but like, have you seen that meme where it's like it shows this badass looking skull with like tusks and stuff, and it's like the animal skeleton. And it's like how scientists think it looks, and it's like this big reptilian thing, and it's like how the textbooks are, and it's like this, and then it turns out it's just a hippo.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like a
yeah.
hippo
So,
skull.
well, and every side of the science, paleontology world has done this, and like the Darwinists have done this too. They would take these little small fragments of a skull that they find and say, oh, well, this is the missing link. And they build a whole Neanderthal body out of this one piece of bone and parade it around the world. And then you find out later, oh, it was a piece of a pig's
Yeah.
jaw. It was like a piece of pig jaw that they turned into the Piltdown Man. Like, you look at these dinosaurs and they piece them together from fragments of 10 different sources. It's very, very rare that they find a fully intact animal. And yeah, what they look like on top of that is entirely conjecture. It's really a guessing game, an imagination game.
Yeah,
It's not a
fine
pure
that
science.
I'm fine that it's a theory. That's the whole thing. It's a theory and it's an unprovable theory. Like you have elements of change or at least diversity, but a lot of what got accepted as evolution isn't actually taught by like actual evolutionary biologists because they actually know kind of like their study of what they're looking for and what they're thinking. But it's stupid stuff like Darwin. It's those stupid ideas that just propagate everywhere and people think that's what it is, and it's like that's not even really what like evolutionists think, you know?
Well, and there's the idea of micro evolution and macro
Yeah.
evolution, which the micro evolution a lot of creationists or believers struggle with the term because they don't like using the word evolution at all.
Yeah.
But micro evolution is really that idea of small adaptations, which if you believe that God created an original animal from different whatever tree of animals, like if there was an original dog and then within its genetic makeup, within its DNA is the potential to adapt in a bunch of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then you end up with a lot of different kinds of species that
Well,
branch out of that
well
original
that was like
DNA because the potential is there.
well that was one of the first pushbacks I think of Darwin whenever it got popularized was like they're like, look, any farmer can tell you how genetics works and how you can change things small. Like people have been breeding dogs and sheep and stuff and livestock for eternity, you know. But I could be wrong here because I'm not a DNA biologist, whatever the term for that is, and I'd love to be corrected if I'm wrong. But it's like whatever's in like your genome, like in your DNA, can't really change all that much. Like the blueprint, like you said, can have small differences, but you can't breed a dog into a completely different type of animal. Like
Right,
even
and
yeah,
that's the idea. Macro is one
yeah,
species becoming another species.
yeah, which is
That
pretty
there's
impossible.
you can't you've never seen that.
Yeah,
DNA is information. DNA is genetic information, and it decays, it degrades, it gets worse. It doesn't get more complex, it gets less complex.
yeah,
It doesn't create new information. All right, the idea of one species turning into another species, that's still theory because
yeah.
it's never been seen.
Reptiles to birds.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So it's what, and so in part, there's a lot of stuff that the museum put out there that like I do agree with. Like they say, evolution has like the tree of life, which is like that all life would have started with this little like protoplasmic thing that
yeah,
sludge that crawl, and that branched out from there into all the different things that we all came from the same crap. Or, the creationist view would be, well, but we believe in an intelligent design, and instead of a tree of life, it's more what they call an orchard of life,
yeah.
which is you've got a whole tree of dog kind, a tree of the cat kind, and
Mm-hmm.
elephant kind, or whatever, and that comes from the biblical view that, like in Genesis, of he created all things according to their kind,
Yeah.
and that is observable
Yeah.
in the world around us.
Well, that's the thing is, and we can debate stuff all day with this. It's just like, man, there's not, there's so much evidence, and I mean that not from like a faith perspective, but the literal evidence for what people call intelligent design, and the fact that that has been disputed is just ridiculous. If you look, it's the only way we judge anything in reality is like, oh, something made this. There's a progenitor, and there's like what's been made. Like there's a first and a second, except for we say that everything has that except for everything. Everything has that except for everything, and
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
like I
it's
don't care.
bizarre.
Yeah, in this case, I don't care what you believe as far as what God or not, or I mean the stupid the stupid artificial intelligence program that we're in or whatever, or what is it, the what are people saying that, oh, we're just
In the
in
Matrix.
the matrix, like program, whatever. It's like, yeah, that's at least closer to the truth than something came from nothing. It's just a
We're living
ridiculous
in a
idea.
simulation,
Simulation,
a
that's it.
simulated reality. Yeah,
The simulation idea holds more weight. The simulation idea is just intelligent design with extra steps. It's like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
crazy how much the intelligent design stuff got pushed back against,
Hmm.
because it would involve having to admit that there was some kind of being outside of human understanding that could do it, despite the fact that everything is outside of our understanding.
But yeah, like I went into it. I'm not gonna say I went into it with an open mind, because I didn't. I tried to allow it to challenge what I hold, and I
Yeah.
did process through it and allow it to at least challenge some of the beliefs that I hold. Because like I am like 100% fall in the category of like the gap theorist
Mm-hmm.
with that stuff. I don't believe the Earth is millions of billions of years old, but I also don't think it's only 6,000 years
The
old.
6,000 one is like a weird, kind of like newer idea, and it's after it was after the time of Jesus. I know that someone came up with that idea. It's a
Well,
yeah,
basically, it comes from following the genealogy of the Bible.
yeah.
And if you follow genealogy of the Bible, then you come up with roughly 6,000
Well,
years.
you get 6,000 years for humans. You don't get it for
Well,
Earth.
see, and that's where, if you look at the young Earth creationist, which, I mean, anybody
Mm-hmm.
go into the Ark Encounter or Creation Museum, which I would encourage you to go because it's a really cool thing to see.
Yeah,
There's a lot that's there that's good. Just go into it knowing that the people who put it together, they're definitely going to be on the young Earth creationists. That's 100% what
yeah.
they do, and that's okay. They're entitled to that. And they have their reasons for thinking that, and that is okay. I'm definitely not throwing shade at them. I'm just there were things there that I'm like, nah, I don't see that the same way. But for me, I don't have any trouble. Like I, as a believer, I believe in I believe in a literal 6 24-hour days of creation, and then God rested on the seventh day. I don't have a problem with that. I just believe that there's an unspecified amount of time between verse 1, where it says God created the heavens and the earth, and verse 2, where it says the earth was formless and void and he hovered over the surface of the waters. I believe that everything he did to the earth, starting at verse 2 onward, I believe he did in 24-hour days. But I also believe that there was plenty of time that we're not given before that.
I don't know. I don't know a thing about that because there's multiple things within the Bible itself. Like, first of all, the obvious one is, was it David philosophizing that I think it was David, but like a day to the Lord is God, like however many years. Like it could be, it doesn't matter. Like time is relative, and Paul makes the point when he talks about the future rest. He compares it to the seventh day, and he says they're one and the same. Like this is like a divine mystery, and I know
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where Seventh Day Adventists kind of get their kind of weird ideas from, is
Mm-hmm.
taking liberties with that verse. But to me, it seems like there's a lot of evidence that suggests that the days of creation are multiple things. Like they could be a 24-hour period, or they could be an extended time that we don't know, but they could be eras that God divides things into or did divide things into. You know what I mean?
I've heard that argument before. I don't personally
Yeah.
agree with that, just because of the use of the actual Hebrew words that are used in that account. Are the like there are Hebrew words, and I don't have them in my head right now. If I can look them up, I'm not going to. There's a Hebrew word for day that refers to like the day of the Lord,
Mm-hmm.
or in those days, that refers to like a larger, context. And then there's, I think it might be the word yom in Hebrew, that means a day, as in a 24-hour day period. That has only, in all of the ancient manuscripts that we have, it's only ever referred to a 24-hour day, and that's the word that's used in Genesis, when the other word certainly exists and is used elsewhere in the books of Moses, in the Torah or whatever, that is not used there. So like the actual language of the word would suggest, based on every other time that word has been used, a 24-hour day. I don't care, to be perfectly honest. Like, it's interesting to talk about and speculate about, but the bottom line is, like, the core point of Genesis as a narrative is not to be a science text or a history text. The story of Genesis is about God and his reasons for and interactions with his own creation. It's a theological book. It's not a history book or a science text.
Well, I'll push back just a little bit. Say it is a history book, at least to the Jews. Like they did take. I know what you're saying as far as like the theological side of things, but the actual history is a legitimate historical account. Like even historians can't get around that. Like even non-Christian historians can't get around the fact that this is one of the most reliable history books ever written. As far as what I'm saying, like the
Yeah.
yeah, the description of everything from like basically Exodus on, at least, because we can actually cross-reference all that. It's like, oh yeah, there was a large concentration of Hebrews in Egypt, and then they suddenly left one day.
Well, yeah, I guess I was more so
Yeah,
referring to the creation
I
narrative,
got yeah, I got
the
you.
not the whole. I misspoke, I guess. Uh, I was more so speaking of the creation account
Please,
than
please
like
don't die
the
on
all
camera.
whole group.
Please,
I know, right?
you look, you're
I'm
about to,
so my
you
body.
look
I
like you're about
can't even drink water without dying,
to.
choking on my own oxygen.
He shouldn't have questioned God.
Lightning.
No. Man, with your luck, you'd survive.
Be that person that gets hit like every day for the next month.
That wasn't that like that poor girl, like the Red Hot Chili Peppers concert. I think got struck twice or something. She lived, but it was like,
It's amazing. They
jeez.
say that like if you've been hit once, you're like dramatically more likely to be hit again
Yeah,
for some reason.
God's like, I'll smite him
It's so,
again.
you a smite magnet.
Is there? I don't think there's any like biblical or theological foundation for someone getting struck by lightning. I don't think that's ever happened in the Bible. It's a funny thing that we associate, but I don't think that's ever happened.
It's probably more of an association to Greek myth with like
Yeah,
Zeus
with
and
Zeus and all
stuff.
that. Which that's a fun thing too, is when you get into, because people, the whole like old man in the sky about the Christian God came from the Renaissance, which was like, oh well, we just really like Roman and Greek architecture. This is how they portrayed their God, so we'll portray our God that way.
We'll
And
do the
it's
same thing, yeah.
yeah, it's like, no, that's not how God is or looks.
He's a spirit.
um,
A spirit.
that's not a bad spring break. Since I'm an adult and I don't work at a school, I don't get a spring break. So, um, since I have like a family, I don't have a spring break. Like my kid was off. She was off of school, which was, I guess, fun for her. Which she loves school, so maybe it wasn't fun for her. But I didn't
She
do
was
any.
stuck with you.
Yeah, well, I was at work. I got promoted at work. That was nice. I'm a level 2 now. So whatever that means. But uh,
Hopefully, it means more money.
it's supposed to. I don't know about that. We're gonna find out. Um, this week, man, I didn't do a whole lot this week because like I was going to, but like my mom was here for a while and then she left, so I didn't have the office here to work. I mean, I could have kicked her out, but who's gonna kick out their mom to like, hey, Mom, I got to work on my comic book. You know, the woman that gave birth to you and like took care of you your whole life.
You're working. She brings you hot
I know
pockets.
she's making everything great. Yeah, man. So I decided to honor my mother and actually take care of her while she was here and stuff, and like not play my mech games in the room she's staying in. So, not to put on my anime while she's trying to sleep and stuff. So, so I was like, man, Josh is out of town. I can't really get much done. I built a magic deck. That's what I did.
I bought one. I didn't build it,
right,
but I
which
bought
one?
one. I got the crap, what's it called? It was from the Brothers War.
Okay. Which is the Warhammer one?
I think it is. Hold on.
And now while Josh can't hear me, I'm gonna say, Josh sucks, Josh sucks, Josh sucks, Josh sucks. Oh, you're back. You got your headphones back on. I wasn't saying anything bad about you.
Of course you weren't. You'd never.
Why would I insult the guy who has the power to crush my entire career with his not drawing? Which Josh has been working on a ton of stuff. We need to show you guys, and that's another part of this
thing. Mishra's Burnished Banner.
Mishra's Burnished Banner. That doesn't sound like propane.
Yeah. He does a lot of. He's able to assemble a lot of like non-creature artifacts out the gate.
All right.
And they trigger their abilities when they leave or enter the battlefield. So basically, like you build up a bunch of things that can all hit at one time, and then like keep hitting.
Hands on keep hitting. Let me take a look.
He's coming all the time.
At the beginning of combat, on your turn, create a token that's a copy of target non-creature artifact you control. Okay, yeah, that means you need to get some artifacts. Except his name is Mishra's Warform. It's a 4/4 construct artifact creature in addition to its other types. It gains haste until end of turn sacrifice at the beginning of the next end step. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good deck. I also found a couple of cards. Or I found a card I was looking for to try to get my zombie deck a little bit more useful. That was a very nerdy conversation for those of you who
for those of you who only listen for comic books and stuff.
Yeah. That's the hand bone.
They really had me with the Thanos talk, but I lost them with that magic crap. There's some guys like, I just realized they're nerds.
You just realized?
Yeah, to say there's some guy that's like sitting there like, oh, he's like disgusted and mad. What about updates, man? I'm working, guys, right now. I'm still working on something called Apollyon 20XX Revelations. That's Revelations with an S, unlike the Bible, which is Revelation. That's one of my few little douchey pet peeves I have is when people call the Bible book Revelations. There's only one revelation. It's of Jesus Christ. There's not multiple ones.
Yeah, I don't know why that became a thing.
They always do it. Preachers do it, and they always do it in movies and shows. They're like, oh, Revelations. And it's like, no, you wrote this and you didn't have the wherewithal. You had to quote it and you didn't search it and like make sure you had it right. It's like, I was reading Wars and Pieces.
Are those Reese's Pieces?
Wars and Pieces.
Reese's Pieces.
What is it? Are you there, God? It's me, Kelly's, or whatever that book's called. Whatever that book's called. They're making a movie out of it. Isn't that just about a girl getting her period? Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret. Ugh, Margaret.
I wonder if that's where Ray Stevens is. Me again, Margaret.
Is you there?
Hello.
Is you there, God?
Margaret?
Is you there, God? It's me, Margaret's.
What's good, God? What's good?
Well, I thought it was about her getting her period, wasn't it?
I don't know. I never read it. I've heard of it.
Apparently, it's about her spiritual. What am I thinking of? What the heck book did I have to read? Her mother is Christian and her father is Jewish. Oh, so she's getting the guilt from both ends. She frequently prays to God, beginning her prayers with, "Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret." Margaret feels uncomfortable with her lack of religious affiliation. That's a nerdy 11-year-old, I'll tell you that. For some for a school assignment, she studies religious beliefs. This had to be written back in the 60s.
Oh yeah. That's crazy.
Margaret befriends Nancy, a neighbor who is the same age. Nancy seems confident and knowledgeable about many subjects, including sex. Somebody needs to call child services on Nancy because this is the 70s.
Nancy is a raging alcoholic.
Oh wait, hold on. And her friends Gretchen and Janie. Oh, what 80-year-old in 1970 wrote this? Judy Bloom. Let's see. Nancy, Margaret, and their friends Gretchen and Janie form a secret club called the Preteen Sensations. They discuss boys, brassiers, and menstruation. That's what I remembered from it. That's what I remember from the book. Oh, it was a movie too. I remember that. Gretchen has her first menstrual period, which causes Margaret to worry that she is abnormal because she has not started menstruating. I haven't started. Am I abnormal?
You are in 2023, Dan.
Nah.
You're not menstruating.
I think I saw this movie like as a kid. I think we had it laying around because I'm pretty sure it was an old movie. Adaptations. Adaptations. Yeah, there was a film. Okay. I don't know how I had that laying around. Anyway, whatever.
Core memory unlocked back in the vault. Well, yeah, I'm still working on Apollyon 20XX, the first volume, Live Not by Lies. It's 6 issues, chapters, whatever. I am
that are the same length, if not longer than average comics issues.
Right. I am 75% through issue 5. I've only got a little bit more school. Like I'm out of school. Our school year will end before Memorial Day.
All right.
And as soon as I'm out of school and I have like full days, I'm gonna knock the rest of that sucker out.
Nice.
I'm working on it every week, but like whatever I don't have done, I'll be able to crush it.
Yeah, and it all looks amazing. I've seen it. We post a good bit of it as much as I can, as much as I'm allowed to. And I mean, Josh is a top-notch artist, so if you haven't seen it, you should go to our socials and check it out, or I'll join the mailing list from our website, linked below, and I'll send more stuff.
As a godly man, why is my art so dark, Dan?
Oh yeah, somebody commented. What you drew Swamp Thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, Swamp Thing.
You drew Swamp Thing, and some guy's like, "As a godly man, why is your art so dark?" That guy had a funny name. I won't say it on here, but he had a hilariously funny name for a guy to be calling out somebody else.
Like, now I was like, dark because I use black ink.
Like, it's Swamp Thing, man. Like,
it's Shadow.
I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's Swamp Thing. Like, he's just a guy who's also a swamp. Like, it's not that bad. He's more more neutral than dark.
Donald Trump wants to drain him.
I would drain him so hard. We have put up with this swamp man for far too long. The Swamp Thing, not man. He ends up killing Man Thing.
He is a muck encrusted monster of a man. He was created in China.
They have the worst pollution, the worst men, the worst swamps. We must get rid of this existential threat that is the Swamp Thing. And then the next news cycle, he's got the head of Man Thing.
I got the wrong one. He's
got the George Bush mission accomplished banner.
Man Things of mass destruction.
As a godly man, why you
Why
gotta,
your art so dark? I'm
bruh?
like, it ain't, but okay.
What
And
about
then late, and then I drew Superman.
man? Yeah, you've been drawing a lot of cool stuff, but uh, we're trying to get a ton of stuff for you guys. Apollyon 20XX Revelations is like part two of Lamentations, except it's from the perspective of another character before the events of Apollyon 20XX, where he's kind of giving the information he has on the order and what's happening in the world. And it's a little bit more claustrophobic than Lamentations. Lamentations is more shotgunned out, a lot of different aggregated opinions of people in it. Revelations is a kind of like an academic study of this guy of what the way the world is, and he kind of sees it as a thesis paper at this, and at the same time an Old Testament prophecy, because he's like, he doesn't, it kind of ranges the gamut of hopefulness and academic coldness, and then like despair at not being able to stop something you see happening and just keeping a record of it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be really cool, guys. It's gonna have that. It's gonna have like a lot of writing in it. I'm trying to make it a little bit more concrete than the Lamentations, where Lamentations were like a really cool art project. This one's gonna be more kind of like a paper or novella, and I think it'll be really cool. Um,
Yeah, and just
yes,
a little more focused because
yeah,
it's coming from one perspective and not like this wide range of things.
yeah, literally aggregated by an AI. Yeah, that's what I like about Lamentations, is that it could be a trustworthy narrator, could not be. You know, who knows? Um,
Mm-hmm.
but well, I know we got more than that going on. I've got a. We're also working on a project called the Blitz Beast, which is a little bit of a prequel before Apollyon 20XX. Like not too much, but it leads up to it, and it's that one's gonna be issue by issue, like singles. That one's not gonna
It's
be,
also
yeah,
that it's got kind of a pulpy vibe, kind of
yeah,
like a Hellboyish kind of pulpy vibe. That it'll be fun.
yeah, darker anime, kind of like Big O.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cerebral anime. Um, yeah, that one's gonna be really cool. That first issue is written. At least like the intro to it, the like issue zero, I guess we could call it, is written.
Mm-hmm.
Issue one has got some action in it, and it's cool. But I don't want to go into it too much into it. I'm just trying to keep everybody up to date that we have tons of stuff coming out. Kolga is all written as far as its first one is, and that's the one Josh will be drawing after Apollyon comes out. That one should be end of the year. Um, the Kolga game is coming along nicely. I got to start working back on that this week.
And we got May 6th, the free comic book day. We're having a signing
Oh yeah,
at Galactic Comics in Florence, South Carolina. That is I think it's the largest comic book store on the East Coast and the second largest in the country. It's an incredible store. If you've never been, like, it is worth the trip, not just to come meet us and get your book signed, but like it's an incredible store. There's some other people that are going to be there. I'm trying to remember the guy's name, right, and I feel like a jerk for not knowing this right off the bat. Um, there's
you're a
another
jerk,
guy that's going to be
Josh.
there that day. I am a jerk. Um, da, 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 da.
Yeah,
Chuck
Mace.
Brown. It's Yeah, Chuck Brown is going to be there doing a signing as well. He has done work. Most recently, he's done the image book Bitterroot.
Oh
He
yeah,
also worked on Black Panther and Black Manta for Marvel and DC. So he's a pretty big name in modern comics. He's going to be there signing. It's going to be an awesome day.
yeah,
So like if you're free or if you're looking ahead, say, oh, what am I going to do that on May 6th? You need to make a trip to Florence and come see us, come hang out, and support like literally the coolest store on the face of this planet.
yeah. It's a really cool place. I'm trying to pull up some pictures of it. Here's us. I'll throw it up here on the screen for everybody watching. Yep, May 6th, 2023. Man, it's funny. You have like a semi-professional looking picture, and mine is just me sitting at this desk in my shorts.
In your
I've got
shorts,
like all these,
showing off the legs.
yeah, my chicken legs. I used to have nice calves when I ran every day. They used to be like the best thing about me.
Guys,
Personality,
I used to have. See, I used to have golden calves.
yeah, till Moses and Aaron cast them from their sight. Yeah, Galactic's a really big store. Let me pull up some more. It's like
Well, they
multiple
got,
rooms.
and they,
Yeah.
it's not just comics either. I mean, they have a ton of long boxes. They have an enormous amount of graded books. Like if you're a collector and you collect graded books, dude, they have so many
Yep,
like holy
there it
grail
is.
books in that place.
Yeah, this is
Um,
and that's what you
Toys.
guys are seeing. That's like 1/4 of the room. Like, it's a big
Yeah,
place.
they have so many toys like from every possible decade and collectibles. It's just a incredible store. It's a really cool store.
Yeah, massive. Like just long boxes as far as you can see.
And I'm gonna be doing I'll be doing sketches and stuff like just quick character sketches and things of for by request. So it's gonna be a fun day.
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing people.
So May 6th, correct?
Yep, May
Yep.
6th.
May 6th, Florence, Florence, South Carolina. See if I can pull up some of the sketches you've done before. Yeah, there's one of Superman. Here's the Swamp Thing one.
That's dark.
Yeah, there's old
I did that
Swamp Thing.
Wolverine one. I did one of Wolverine in the snow while I was on vacation and posted that. Someone was like, do you ever have nightmares from all these scary things you draw? I'm like, it's Wolverine.
You're like, dude, I have nightmares, and that's why I draw these things.
Like it's Hugh Jackman.
You just know old people.
Ah,
Also, don't look up or harass anybody that's commenting weird things on Josh's Facebook. Just ignore them.
exactly. They don't mean
What's
anything.
funny is I think I know that person. I have a 99% thing that I know that person that said that. I'm not gonna go into it, but like I saw the name and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I know that person.
It don't matter. It don't matter.
But yeah, it's a cool time. Like I'm not a big fan of springtime. I don't like pollen and I don't like going outside really, but it's nice that it's that recurring symbolism of rebirth and all that kind of stuff. It's encouraging to if you guys are working on a project. I mean, the most thing I see from artists, and I kind of make fun of them because that's what you should do. Like if you have a healthy male relationship, it's just making fun of each other, right?
Bring back bullying.
Yeah, at least intra friend group bullying. But people are like always complaining about, especially in writing and art circles. It's always like, I don't feel like doing my work. It's so hard. It's like, man, just do it. Like, do it every day. I
Yeah.
wake up. I don't want to do it. I don't want to. I hate writing. Like, I really hate working on my stuff. I think Josh is the only person I met that enjoys his craft, and now he has to do it. Yeah, cause like I hate it. I hate sitting down. Like I'd rather just be out. Like if I could live like a hobbit, I would. If I could just go sit on a grassy knoll with like a pipe and some bacon, I'd be happy. Like
Have a good second breakfast.
most days, I'd literally just want to sit on my couch and watch TV. And like, there's nothing on there I want to watch. I just don't want to think. Like I want to watch like maybe anime or something. Like I just don't want my brain to function anymore. But the discipline comes in like when you finish something, particularly
Discipline.
when you finish something difficult, it makes you do more. Like I mean, I finished a novel. It took 8 years. Whether it's good or not, who knows? But after that,
Oh, it's good.
well, after that, writing comics was nothing. I did Kolga and Apollyon and like what we did in like 2-3 months, something ridiculous like that. And it's just yeah, if you're doing
Yeah,
something,
my part's the part that takes so long.
yeah, but you
Because I don't
yeah.
want to. I don't want to phone it in. I want it to be as good as it can possibly be.
Yeah, but you spent
So,
like a year just getting character designs down and stuff and taking it seriously. And
mhm.
that's why doing that long hard part made everything else easier because now you're throwing out pages like it's nothing. You're doing like 1 to 4 pages a day sometimes, which is an
When
unheard of
I can
rate.
get the time free,
Yeah,
yeah, when I get the free time to work on it, yeah, I can knock them out. That's why I can't wait for school to be out. I'll destroy the rest of this book and then start writing the Koga.
yeah, and it's just little stuff like that. I guess all I'm saying is, if there's any artists or other creators doing it, man, get off. Don't whine on the internet. Whine at your house. Whine to yourself. Whine to God, but don't whine on the internet. And just only post, just post whenever you have something cool and successful. You can whine about other stuff. Like, I'll still whine about how much The Last Jedi sucks till the day I die. But
So,
your art, don't whine
don't
about your art.
don't don't post something and then beg people to affirm you either.
Yeah.
That's so annoying. Oh, what do you guys think of this? Is this good?
If you have to
You
ask that,
like
it probably
this?
sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like just yeah.
Well, we said this
That's a
before.
whole other
No,
train.
we said this before, but a cruel fact of reality is most people suck at everything. Like, because stuff's hard. Like, I suck at most everything. And I don't consider myself a good writer, but I spent 8 years doing it to maybe not feel like I do suck at it. And that's what you do. And then maybe you write something good. Maybe you do something good. But you don't
Mhm.
know unless you have that voice in your head being like, hey, do it better, do it better, do it better, do it better. You don't get that voice from
Well,
other people. You don't say, "Oh, tell me if this is good or not." You say, "Hey, if this,"
well,
you get like a close person, like a friend, like an artist, and you say, "Tell me if this sucks."
yeah. Well, and for me, I don't, and I don't know. I guess everybody has different philosophies or ways of looking at things.
No.
I don't judge. I don't judge my art or anything I create by somebody comparing it to somebody else's,
Yeah.
because somebody else is going to be different. I mean, I don't expect different does not mean better.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to compare my stuff to somebody else's stuff. I'll compare my stuff to my own work and look at, all right, I did this 10 years ago versus this week. I've grown or I haven't. Like
Yeah.
that's, and if it's not better, then I need to go back to the drawing board literally and make it better.
Do you have a
But
drawing
like for
board?
me,
Did we ever get you an easel?
I, I've got a drawing table, like a drafting table.
Yeah, I think the lean-in thing or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, I've got a drafting
Okay,
table,
cool.
and I have,
I was
I
gonna
do a
buy
lot of
you
my
one for
stuff
like
digital.
Christmas. Like, honestly, I was thinking about it. I was like, if Josh doesn't have, I was gonna ask Ashley to see if you had one, then I was gonna get you one.
No, yeah, I've got a drafting table. It's awesome. But like my thing is, I don't care if anybody likes what I did.
Yeah.
I don't need a single person to tell me it's good. If what was in my head ends up on my page, then I'm satisfied.
Yeah. And the thing is, someone
And you
will
can
like it.
like it. Yeah, you can like it or you can hate it. You can think it's dark. I don't care as long as it's I have articulated on that page the vision that I had.
He's
Like
like,
if I'm telling
I
a
don't care
story
as
I
long
was
as you
trying to
buy it.
tell, I don't like if you don't buy it, somebody will.
Yeah. That's my philosophy too. I think a lot of people need to have that as like,
Somebody will. If you
yeah.
don't like it, then just assume it's not for you.
Well, and that's the thing, is not everybody's going to, and who cares? I don't like 99% of the professional stuff I see. Like, and I don't like 99% of the indie stuff I see. It doesn't mean someone else won't. I'll still promote it. And some people are like, "Oh, it's hypocrisy." No, it's not. It's not hypocrisy to be like, this isn't for me, but it might be for you. That's called
Yeah.
like relationship and friendship. Like,
It's also that art is subjective and there's things that I may have a hang up somebody else doesn't have. That doesn't matter. It doesn't make that other person's work not worthy of them having spent their time on it.
yeah,
As long as what they produced is what they wanted to create, then shoot,
yeah.
put it out there.
Well, it's like the guy who did Wonder Woman did Earth. Like,
Dinner.
I'm not the biggest fan of his style, but you love it, and he's clearly
Oh
competent.
yeah, I love
Yeah,
his
he's
work.
clearly competent at what he does. I mean,
Hmm.
I don't care for his art, but he's very talented at it. It's worse when you don't like somebody's art and they suck at it. Like,
There's definitely a point where art is objective up to this point, and then it becomes
yeah.
subjective. Like there's objectively crappy art that's just not good.
Well, I think they define like beauty in humans like is objective to like the golden ratio of like the symmetry of the face. and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. I mean, that's getting back into creation, which I mean, I think once you learn about like the golden ratio and pi and all that stuff, and you're gonna be like, oh, yeah, no one designed this. Okay, okay, yeah, that's a yeah. The math just happens to all add up perfectly by magic. But anyway, I mean, I could talk for like the next 2 hours, dude. But I'm getting thirsty, and I don't want to take up your whole Sunday afternoon because I think you still gotta work a little bit tonight, don't you? Um,
Mm-hmm.
so this has been more of a chill one, guys, because Josh and I haven't talked for like a week or two. So we're just gonna cut it off there in an hour, and we'll be more focused on the next one. I'm gonna try to get Hans and Steven up here for a super long Tolkien discussion. I like to have like a 2 hour or more discussion about the importance of Tolkien because people are just. It sounds really weird, but people are just now online starting to articulate the importance of Tolkien in the modern age,
Mm-hmm.
like through modern senses, and it's because the establishment or cathedral or whatever you want to call it is trying so hard to tear Tolkien down, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like through Rings of
We might
Power.
even have to. We might have to split that one into a two-parter.
Yeah, which would be fine with me. It's just like the time
Mm-hmm.
to defend Tolkien is coming, and that sounds so Tolkien-esque and over the top. But I mean, I'm telling you, like it's coming because like
You have
yeah.
my axe and my blade.
It's coming. Like they're trying to they're gonna try to remake it again or something. Like they failed with Rings of Power. No
Mm-hmm.
one watched that show. No one believed it. Until it's destroyed like Star Wars, it's gonna keep happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, and luckily the
Well,
Tolkien fan base said
if
no.
if you haven't done it yet, like, subscribe. We got these episodes up on Spotify.
Yeah, I need to promote
If you
that.
want to listen to them on your road trips to and from work or whatever,
Or
we're going to continue
Kentucky.
to Kentucky. Uh, like and subscribe. Follow our socials. Go to GODFOEuniverse.com. Get on our mailing list. We got the Kickstarter. We'll be coming up pretty soon, I'm sure, for Apollyon.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to keep my promise. I'm not going to ask you for money until I'm finished.
Yep.
So that's the only reason it's not up already is I don't want to. I don't want to
Yeah,
put it
it
up
could, it could have
and
been up
ask
for
you
like
to
4 months
invest in
now,
it.
but we don't do that.
Yeah, I'm not going to ask you to invest in something I haven't finished yet, and that's just. I think that's just being transparent and honest with you and giving you my best, Dan's best. Us
Yep.
having a trust
It protects everybody because there are some people who legitimately want to finish something and then life happens and it's something terrible. Like some people like lose their family members or something, and then like the book's like months late, and people are like, why is it late? And it's like maybe you should have finished it before you put it up there. Because
Mm-hmm.
you don't lose anything by finishing the book before you put it up there. But that's a whole other tirade that will go on later. It just don't guys in your life's already complicated. Life's already like trying to juggle chainsaws. Do not add stress to it by trying to finish a book that you owe people, and that's not even your full time job because even some of these quote unquote professionals can't do it for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that gets on my nerves. That's basic integrity,
Oh,
man. That's like my dad taking me out back and beating me for like not doing something. You know what I mean? Like
it's basic integrity.
it is. Like I'm
Just integrity.
putting a line on the ground. Like don't call yourself a man if you don't have basic integrity. Especially the people that are paying you to do something. Like, maybe that's the old like
Exactly.
Southern Irish douchiness coming out of me. But like, it's just true. You've got that too. You know. Like no, don't. Mm-mm. Do not take money if the product ain't done. It's you just ask.
Now that we've triggered Dan, everybody have a great
Yeah,
rest of your
everybody have a
day.
great way. And
And we'll catch you on the next one.
yeah, next time you'll catch Angry Southern Dan next time. See ya.